computer. We'll share. Not much to share right now. Let me get the. So we're gonna talk about. I want to talk about Instagram as one factor. So obviously we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Snapchat now, which is again relatively new in the comparison compared to Facebook. Snapchat seems new. We've got a couple others. There's Reddit. There's Twitter, those type of thing. Are you guys all kind of using these? Anybody use anything that's not kind of Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, those kind of things? Anybody use anything weirder, new, up and coming? Because they all were new and up and coming at one point. Anybody use anything else besides these? So TikTok, okay. Again, TikTok I think is it's relatively new. I mean, it's been a couple of years. Hasn't been around definitely as long as Facebook has been. And again, all of these medias they're all related in the sense that you communicate with other people. And really, this is a time unlike any other, literally, and I'm going to say, and it's the truth, any other time in the history of the world, any time in the history of man, that we're able to do this. Now, obviously, we had the World Wide Web, which started, basically in the in the 90s, and you could build a website, and you could communicate to millions of people if they found your website. Okay. Excuse me. Likewise, today you can communicate with millions of people if they can find your social media type of thing. And what we're going to do today is kind of go through some ways of getting people to find your social media. How do you do it? And also kind of how can you use social media not only to promote whatever you're trying to promote, your art, your design, but also potentially use it as almost a portfolio, a way of communicating to others, where you're going to put your Instagram handle, quote unquote, your address on your resume or something like that, in order to get people to see what your work is, much like a website. Okay, because in reality, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, they're all websites. And I'm actually looking at Instagram here on a website, right? I'm in Safari, so I'm looking at it through a browser. And I can do that. I can't do everything I can on the phone because it was obviously designed to be a digital mobile platform. Okay, but I can do a lot of it. All right. And I rarely come on the desktop version, but we're going to use that today to talk about and as a way to kind of communicate with it. So before I get into kind of what I think are some of the specifics of it, one, what kind of questions do you have about social media? And two, what are your thoughts about social media? How much do you use it? Et cetera. So total waste of time. Just kind of getting your thoughts before I start to ramble here for a spell. What are you guys thinking?
How do you kind of figure out what the trend is? You know what I mean? How do you figure out what the motion is to go if you're going to promote stuff? Is there a good way about doing it? Is there a new way about doing it? How do you kind of figure out what the right way is?
Well, I'm going to tell you guys the way I do, in particular, in this case, Instagram. And the others are slightly close to the same with what they do. The word trend is kind of what's going on, and I think that you have to kind of look at trend makers, trendsetters, but it's the trends also in general. They're coming from all around us, right? They're coming from music, they're coming from film, they're coming from TV, they're coming from design, and I think a lot of it is just coming from observation. I mean, trend I've actually noticed, and I was like, I was just thinking about the other day, is I call them fancy serif typefaces. And let me just pull up an example of one. Let's see if I can do this. See if they're gonna have it. So I went to Starbucks the other day. I like coffee, and on the door they had like this, what I call a fancy serif, meaning it's not the traditional not or sans serif that we kind of used to seeing with Starbucks. It's a fancier. I'm just trying to see if they have it on their website anywhere. It's a lot harder to pull off on a website. Let me just maybe under here. Yeah, there, we got it here. So we're used to seeing Starbucks in this kind of serif, but then they've been going to what I call like a fancy serif. And again, I don't know if this is the exact typeface or they're using this one because it's a website, but they're using this kind of, I think it's really beautiful serif, how there's like a lot of ups and downs and curvatures in the letter forms. And it had a sign on the door. It was something, I don't know what it was at this point, but it was just kind of like really, I just noticed the typeface going, wow, that's a pretty typeface. And I think that's a trend now. I think these kind of, I call them fancy serifs, has been around, but it's really pushing it even more so today. So I think from a trend setting, a lot of it's just kind of observation, just kind of looking and seeing the things. Again, there are people that set trends. I don't know, the Kardashians. I don't, I don't follow them. So obviously they're not in my trend. But music is big, and personalities, and film and TV, what they're wearing, fashion. Anybody know why fashion is such a big trendsetter kind of thing? Twice a year, fashion comes out with new styles, right? Because they got to get you to buy something, right? So literally there's a spring and the fall collections, and each time it's a little bit different. It has to be different, so you're going to quote buy something. Otherwise, you're wearing the same blue jeans from 10 years ago, which in itself becomes a trend. But fashion, colors, cuts, silhouettes, really good place from an art and design standpoint to kind of look at what's trending. It might be stuff like what's selling at fine art auctions, kind of looking at it. Is there a lot of stuff from the old, or is it more modern? Is it pop? Is it retro? Is it very contemporary? Is it 2D or 3D art? Has it gone into something like furniture as opposed to something else that's three-dimensional? So, and then of course there are websites that quote deal with trends, and of course you can follow those and you can look at those as ways. I don't know, does that answer your question there a little bit? Okay, I assume that was guy or click. Click.
Yeah, sorry, my mic wasn't
Okay.
working. But yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense to me.
But I'm going to tell you how to, in this case today, we're going to work on how to work Instagram. So maybe you could become a trendsetter. Does that make sense? I mean, the problem with the word trend is it goes away, right? There's a trend, and it literally means it's here and it's going to go away. So it's here, it's going to go away. So it's kind of what is in favor today. And ultimately, you kind of want to bypass trends. In theory, you want to be just a part of it. But it doesn't mean you don't work with trends to be a part of it, but you're always having to kind of work. You want to build up a base. So it doesn't mean that you can't use what like I said, called the fancy serifs, or go, I don't know, sleek and modern like McDonald's has been. But again, McDonald's has a base, so they can kind of smoothly go along, and they're doing stuff based on the world around them and the art and design. But you want to have that base. So no matter really what you do, or if you did nothing at all, you're going to still be there. I mean, I'm going to go to Starbucks because I like their coffee. They're obviously convenient. I'm going to go whether it's they're advertising like they're doing now on TV or not. I don't really care. I don't care if they have the apple cinnamon spice mocha. I don't care. I don't drink that. So I don't care if they have that and they want to be trendy with an apple cinnamon spice mocha. It's not going to bring me in. It's not going to put me out of going to Starbucks because of that. So they're going with this trend of apple cinnamon spice or whatever those kind of things are. It's fall, right? And soon we'll have the Christmas peppermint mochas and all those kind of things coming out. That's a trend, okay? But they're still going to be there, and people are still going to go to them with or without that trend. That makes sense. So it's okay to work with trends or be a part of a trend, but ultimately what you want to be is become this part of it, right? You want people to look at your stuff or follow your work or follow the program or institution or the company or whatever it is that you're doing because they like what you do, but not only like what you do, but they believe in what you do. And that's really where I think success comes in, is building up that relationship, okay, that relationship with consumers, with your audience. And I'm here to tell you, you can do this. And again, we're talking about Instagram, and everything I'm saying, you can find it in books. It's all out there. There's nothing that I'm telling you that no one knows about. There really are no secrets. The problem is that people just don't want to use the secrets that are out there, if you want to call them a secret. So let's talk about Instagram. So, and again, if there's questions, just chime in or type a quote or type a chat or something like that as we're going here. Excuse me. So I started this company, National Park Geek, that I have about six years ago now. And again, it started as an activity for myself, right? A way to kind of design, excuse me, a way to design, a way to, keep myself active, a way to teach myself about these social medias and what's going on and how to work with them. So I can, again, teach it back. But it was never meant to be anything. It was just kind of, it was something, and it was there. Like I said, more of a kind of a side thing. A thing that where I could make some extra money to buy a new computer or go on a nice vacation. Something like that. Between teaching and designing, as I was already had been doing for years. But ultimately it took off, and I'm very happy for that and very excited by it. And what I'm here to tell you is you guys can do what I'm doing. You don't need, yes, I have more years of experience, but you have the youth on your side, and there's really nothing that can't be done. And many times people say, "Oh, you can't do that. That's not going to work." Really, the biggest thing for any of this, whether you build something and work it through social media, or you build something and sell it on the street corners, or you build something and sell it through an app store and you sell that off to somebody else, the biggest pediment, the biggest thing that's going to hold you back is people saying, "No, that's nothing," or "You can't do it." Okay, and I'm here to tell you, you can. I'm here to tell you that even with some of the basic things we've learned in this class alone, you can do this. And yes, there's skill, knowledge, and definitely a bit of luck that comes into play here. But if you don't have the certain skills or knowledge, you go and learn it, right? And you're taking a class, and we're moving along at our pace, okay? But if you need it by tomorrow, what do? I don't know, you go to YouTube, right? You Google it, or you go to websites and find it. So the information is out there. And I really, I say, thank God for those people that are sharing this kind of information. Because I think they're doing a great job at it. And, I wouldn't be where I am with what I've been doing if it wasn't for other people sharing information with me. Like I said, some of it is obviously a design, a passion, an interest, but a lot of it is just kind of figuring it out. And, obviously we're going to talk about how to figure out some of it today. One guy who's kind of been an inspiration to me, especially from the social media world, is Gary Vaynerchuk. He has started a social media companies. He's got a sports company. These are basically his companies he's worked with or founded. And he started out just like a kid. He worked at his dad's liquor store in New Jersey. He started out doing billboard advertisements for his dad's liquor store, and he started an online online wines. And he was started with YouTube videos of explaining wines and how to do it and how to drink wines, etc. And he built this up, and he learned a lot of it through social media and marketing and so forth. And he's built it into, at this point, one of the larger media entertainment complexes here in the world. So he started with literally nothing and has built it up. And he has a ton of stuff, not only on social media, but how to kind of work it. He's on, all the platforms. There's this Snapchat. It's got to be on TikTok now somewhere. I don't know, maybe not. And he does talks and blah blah blah. But and he's got a couple books which are really worth, I think, looking at. 6-book release coming up next month. Let me see what he's have coming out for the holidays. 12 and a half, it looks like what he's calling it. So, and again, there's things here, how to use a hashtag correctly. We're going to talk about some of these things today, but he's got very valid information as to what to do. And Gary's one of the, what I like to call a giver. There's a couple people in the world. One that people that like this to give, whether it be giving you a bottle of water, or in this case, giving you information, or give to you knowledge and such. There's takers, people just are always trying to kind of grab from you, who always want to kind of steal your cookie. You're like, hey, it's my last cookie, dude. Don't be taking my cookie. So Gary's one of the giver kinds. And he is obviously social. But he's always kind of giving this information, he's giving tips. And sometimes you have to read into the tips, but he's got them. But he's not afraid to tell you the tips. And I know why he's not afraid to give the tips, because 99% of the people he gives the tips to are going to ignore the tips. So they come and say, hey, I want to do this, I want to be social, I want to build a business, an empire, blah blah blah. But 99% or more aren't going to put in the work to do it. Okay. And trust me, it's work. There's nothing that's quote free in this world, unless you've got, your parents are multimillionaires and they're giving you money. That's free. But for the rest of us, we're having to work for it. And like I said, Gary's one of those that kind of gives you the tips. And I'm of the same philosophy, the fact that I'm going to give you guys information today that can, build into something really successful. But you got to use it. You got to want to use it. So it's all about applying that information, just like it is about applying Photoshop. It can make you money, but if you don't apply it, work it, and practice it, you're not going to recoup the money from it. So this is, again, is all part of my master plan to educate and let people become successful. And and I can. And again, success is different. I mean, I'd love to be a multi-billionaire. Well, not a billionaire. It comes with a lot of headaches. Maybe multi-millionaire one day. But I haven't given up on it. But I'm willing to work at it. I'm willing to work for it. And I think the way the world is today, you guys have opportunities that have never been. Like I said, this is a very, very unique time as to being able to talk to the world. And it's unlike any other time. Okay. So I'm just gonna just to explain it to you. So let me see a picture I know did pretty well. 12,000 pictures. I'm gonna look this up and I'm gonna give you some numbers just to kind of blow your mind on stuff. You know, everything's kind of relative here, but I'm gonna look, I can look at these things on the phone, the stats. Okay, so this picture here had 12,300 likes roughly, and it reached 192,000 people. Okay, so one picture. Okay, and I've had pictures that have reached literally almost into 1 million people, and it's kind of mind-blowing when you start to think about it, that you can reach those kind of numbers today. You know, again, in the past, the only way to reach 100,000 people or 1 million people or 500,000 people was, quote, mass media, television, radio, newspapers, magazines, and they were very, very costly. They cost a lot, and they still do. They cost a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars to do a TV ad, to put it up on the air, not just like to make it. Okay, which that has come down dramatically. We can chat about that, but to pay NBC or CNN or the Sci-Fi Network or whatever to show your ad, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. So that's a lot of money. I don't know. Anybody here got $10,000 sitting around for one 30-second ad? Okay, I thought not. But you can reach almost the same number sometimes for free. And that's what kind of the cool part about social is, is you can do this and it costs literally nothing. Okay, how much does it cost to post a picture on Instagram? Nothing. Okay, there's a little bit of time, and obviously time is money, but I didn't have to pay Instagram. Even if I had to pay Instagram for the app, I'm going to recoup that anyway quickly. So it's a way that we can now communicate again to millions and millions of people. And not only can we have them look at our photograph or our project or our art piece, we can then direct them to, you know, links. Okay, we can link them to, you know, our store, which there hopefully they'll buy a sticker, right? And you know, make me a millionaire by buying a $4 sticker. You got a dream, right? Things happen. So it's not that we couldn't do this before, but now we have these things, and we also have like social medias and the podcasts I've been interviewed with and stuff. So you have this thing at your fingertips to communicate with hundreds of thousands, millions of people, and you don't need to be rich and famous to get followers. Now, I don't have 1 million followers yet. I'm still working at it. Almost 740,000. So, yeah, I know 250,000 more to go. I'll get there. I'm not a Kim Kardashian who's famous, or somebody, or a famous musician or comedian or something like that that has that following, name recognition, and will bring it in. Or I'm not celebrity wise where I've been on TV recently with something. But you can still do this. You can still build this up. You can still build this into something that it becomes effective for what you're trying to do with your ideas and your plans. So let me do a second. Okay, so went back to that page. Um, let me see. I'm looking up a buddy. I'm gonna just get his Instagram here. Let me do a search on my phone. Okay, so this is a buddy of mine. He's actually a past student, and give me 1 second. Just 1 second. Be right. Okay, so this is a buddy of mine, Tommy Perez, and he's a designer. And Tommy has worked with some of the biggest companies. See if this will show up. This is stuff he's done with Target. So you may have seen this stuff in the stores, and then they used it in promotional stuff. And this is Tommy making it. It's all out of paper. Okay, so he cuts the paper and puts it together kind of like origami-ish. Okay, and then he photographs it. And in a case of like the big in stores, they actually just kind of transpose this up into bigness, big Illustrator files to print them out, to cut them. And this is from summer 21. He's done a couple years with them. This is just him working around with hearts and burgers. And you can see what he does is he'll Photoshop out, in these cases, the wires. But he's doing it through stop action. He's taking bits and pieces. It's all paper, cardboard. He builds it all up. He's nuts, man. He's like crazy. Really cool stuff. Does little animations. Again, he's Comcast. AARP. Again, everything here is made out of paper. So, and he's doing this at home. He's got his studio up at home. So he builds this and then he takes photographs of whatever it's going to be or action. And then he comes in, he'll Photoshop out the backgrounds, or the lines, I should say, the wires that are holding up the articles. Okay, and again, so how did this start? So let me see if I can get out of here now. Okay, so Tommy was working at Bear Paints down in Santa Ana. He was working as a graphic designer, and he liked it, but he had just had his first daughter, Zoe, and he and the wife decided they were gonna, change things up. They wanted to be there for the daughter as she's growing up. So she was working at I don't know, government or something like that. So I decided she would work full time with the benefits, and he would work freelance and continue on with what he's doing. And he started a thing on Instagram called from A to Z, or A to Zoe. And it was kind of a big thing that kind of got him noticed, not only in the design world, but also in the semi-corporate world for what he's done. So this is his website. And again, I linked to it from his social media, his Instagram. And let me find A to Zoe. I think he's still got it up there. Again, this is all, and it'd be kind of, he just kind of got into this crafting thing. This was kind of like a thing that he decided. Now he's the crafting king. So this is A to Zoe. So it was a project he was doing with his daughter where they would pick a letter and find and make something for it. So in this case, we'll let this load here. I think it was applesauce, A for applesauce. It's his, my internet's being slow. Okay. So he would create these things and he would take a photo, and every photo had his daughter Zoe's hand in there. And it just kind of started, and again, it was just a side project. It was a made for fun kind of thing. It was not designed to make him $1 million. Okay. But again, it was a way to be creative, have a little fun with his daughter, play with typography, etc. So there's B, C for cookie. And he started posting and it gained a fair amount of traction in the world. And I kind of got him noticed. And as that was happening, he was developing his paper craft, this idea. And then this got noticed, and he's worked with, many a big name company at this point, and he's making a living out of doing this. And again, some of it is he makes these little animations that they end up using in promotions and advertisements. Let's see if this will load. Things are slow. Okay, so it's all animate, and again, remember everything is paper and cardboard. So it's kind of become his thing, and he's getting hired and works at it. And he has to kind of keep going with it, has to keep pushing it in order to keep trendy with the world. But again, he got this, and it all kind of came out of working with social media. So the A to Zoe got in a couple gigs. He ended up working at Facebook for a year or two. Now he's back to working for himself with his own little company, personal company, and doing work for freelance work for Marvel or Target. So he's been doing stuff, Adidas, Nickelodeon, Facebook, Target, Sparkling Ice. And again, it kind of started as, like I said, passion projects. Okay, so from a design standpoint, he was doing things that he liked to do just because he could do it. It wasn't necessarily doing it for money. But what I'm trying to say is these medias, these social medias, can lead us down these kind of roads. And in this case, his social media is his portfolio, right? So if you follow him, you've got a portfolio here of what he's currently doing, and can see it. And then of course you can then link to his website where you can see stuff in more in depth and contact him and the likes. And so social media in this case does it. Now, and let me see if he's doing it here. It looks like he's, see, at this point, he's just got a kind of little following that's kind of working with him. So in order to start to get going, you got to do things like hashtags. Okay. And let me just kind of show you those. So who thinks they have somebody give me an understanding of what hashtags are for those that don't know.
Hashtags make you reach the target audience.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to the hashtags? So in Instagram, you can do up to 30 hashtags, and these are the hashtags, right? With the hashtags, it's really the number sign, but number, National Park Geek and National Park Partnership Service, blah, blah, blah. It's how people can find pictures. So if you're interested in, let's say, Utah, I can label content. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of saying about it. I'm gonna see if it's gonna work. Yeah, it is working. So 13.6 million pictures have been tagged with the term hashtag Utah. At some point, they would load. Computers being slow, and it probably has Utah in it, but it may not. I mean, there are people that post pictures that have nothing to do with Utah just because they think the hashtag Utah is popular now. So um, the poster decides what hashtags to use. Excuse me, and most of these hashtags are coming from the users. And what I'm doing is basically reposting their pictures and tagging them, and calling out the things that I want to call out with them. But the hashtags are the way to find things. Okay. Now I started using the hashtag National Park Geek when I started this thing, whatever, a year, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And at this point, it's been used 914,000 times. And it's basically, this is the one that I made up. So I know it didn't exist before I came along. And almost 1 million, that's going to be cool. 1 million hashtags, people tagging their photos with that. And now most of them are park related stuff, nature related, but occasionally there's going to be something else that has nothing to do with anything in there, just because they found the hashtag and they felt it was working. Okay, so you're gonna want to come up with hashtags for all your images. It's really the big way that people are going to start to find you on there. They're going to look hashtag art or hashtag topography, or and you want to be kind of specific. I mean, just hashtag photography. Again, there's a billion of them, right? So it's going to be hard to kind of pick and choose. But maybe it's hashtag California photography, or a hashtag Fullerton as a smaller geographic area, or something specific type of art or medium or something like that, because people start to look into it and they start to see that that's there, or that hashtag is there, and they'll look for it. So it is a way to for people to find you, and it is a way to kind of label what you have. Okay. So you want to make sure you're using hashtags all the time, and you want to be relevant to what you're doing. Okay, so this picture here, I would not put, hashtag the Bahamas, because it's not in the Bahamas, right? This is Canyonlands National Park. It's in Utah, in Moab. So I could do hashtag Moab. I could do hashtag Utah, which is going to bring people potentially there geographically. I could do hashtag Canyonlands, which is the name of the park, Canyonlands National Park, which is the full official name. I could do hashtag arch, hashtag geology. Again, they're kind of more generic, but there are people that want to follow geology, or rock arches, or sunsets. But the more specific you are, the more likely the people you're gonna get the content that you're looking for. Okay. And these hashtags, the user picked. I don't even know what some of them, National Park Guide, I assume that's somebody's else's website or Instagram that they're following. There's 4,000 posts in there. National Park Service, there's going to probably be 1 million something, I hope. Let's see. No, there's only 500. Wow, people don't want to spell it out. National parks, let's see, it's going to be 1 million, 2 million. What are we getting coming up? 2.7 million. Okay, so people have tagged the word national parks. And again, remember, national parks could be anywhere in the US, but it could be also the world, right? The world has national parks. So you want to kind of be not only micro, but also a little bit macro. Okay, a little bit big, but not so big that you're doing hashtag tree, because what does that got to do? I mean, yeah, they're trees, or hashtag sunset. And again, you could use it, but again, you're not going to get the pull as you would to be more specific and getting the people that are liking what you're liking, or what you're trying to share and promote. So work the hashtags, and they can change. It's not like I have a set series that I use if I need to, but I also add in, right? So you always want to kind of work it, and change it up. But don't just do, hashtag Instagram, hashtag photography, hashtag love, hashtag peace, hashtag sunset, hashtag, California, whatever. At some point, if they're so vague, yeah, you'll get people that like it or start to follow, but you want to kind of get some specific ones in there. Okay, so hashtag Dana Point, or hashtag Sunset Dana Point, or hashtag California Sunset, or something like that, where it's a little bit more specific, in order to kind of help build your audience to get people that are liking or into the things you do. A lot of this goes back to this kind of idea and concept of tribes. I don't know if I like the term there, but basically people are always looking for other people that have similar interests. Okay, so it might be you like the bike ride, so therefore you're gonna follow somebody who likes the bike ride, or you like to take photography, so you're gonna find photographers, or same religion or same geographical area. We all kind of want to belong. Same college, same major. Again, they all become tribes of some sort, typically, where we're always trying to reach out and gravitate to people that like things like us, because that's what our interests are, right? I mean, if I like, I don't know, if I like photography, and you like, I don't know, designing flowers, flower arranging, we're gonna have some things in common, but we're not gonna have a lot. But if you're like into photography and I'm into photography, we got a lot more to talk about. And that's kind of how things are. And it's likewise with your friends. I'm going to say, most of your friends, you have things in common, which has become mutual interest and mutual kind of ways of doing. So they become, quote, part of your tribe. So on the social media, we're also trying to build up our tribes, us. Now, if you're a celebrity, you're a celebrity and people gravitate for you, and you actually kind of make the tribe because of being the celebrity. Okay. So hashtags are crucial. Questions about that? Does that kind of clear up or expand upon what you're talking about with hashtags?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
so.
I think
You
so.
covered it pretty well.
Okay. Next, I would say things that you're posting. Again, you want to have a decent picture. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be National Geographic, but it should be well composed or well lit. Those are always going to be, I think, helpful for you for people. I mean, this is put out by Montezuma Parks, and this is a tarantula. But don't worry about the number of likes and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at this, you're kind of like, what the heck is that, right? It's not a very well composed photograph. Now I know they're not worried about composition; they're worried about this kind of selling. But over top of this, where we have kind of a bright, colorful sunrise up in Arcadia, which is in Maine. Okay, so I mean, there's a difference between that, and something else. And even here, it's not bad. It's kind of flat and kind of washed out, but there's decent composition going on with the image. Here's an archival picture. Friend Virgin is a turtle. They're not too bad. It could be better, obviously, but so you always kind of want to look at your images as to what you're posting. To create this. And again, you don't have to be a photographer to do this. We'll go over some photography techniques as we go throughout the semester. We've got some time, but if people are there to look at good pictures. Okay, I mean, it's Instagram in this case. So don't kill them with really, really bad photographs. I mean, at least make them interesting or part of the composition that you're trying to do. And I think you can do that. Like I said, the vast majority of people that post on Instagram are just people. They're not professional photographers. There are some that I know that are definitely professional photographers, or what I would call semi-pro photographers. But the vast majority aren't. So hashtags, number one. Putting up pictures, working the relationship. So meaning if people comment on your pictures, try to comment back if you can. So people go, oh, that's a nice picture. At least say, hey, thank you. Again, it's work. It takes time. Now, I used to be able to get through everybody who hashtag National Park Geek every day and at least like their photograph. I can't get to that now because there's too many. But I think you can do that when you're starting off. You can definitely, that's how I got started. That's how I gained traction. That's how it kind of built itself into what it is. It's also looking at hashtags. So if you're looking at, if I use hashtag National Park, I'm going to look at other people that use National Park and I'm going to like their photos. Because when people like their photos, and you know this, you're like, who's that person that liked my photo? Who is that? And then you're going to look at that person's profile and pictures and go, wow, that's not too bad. Maybe I should follow them. They look kind of cool. Okay. So, liking pictures is important, not just like being one-sided and putting the stuff out there, expecting people to find it. You got to be interactive as much as possible with these social media. And at some point, you're going to build it up and it's going to actually be fun and you'll have relationships with some of these people. At least through Instagram, and you'll chat back and forth and those kind of things. It's fun, but you can do this and you can build this up. So we've got hashtags, we've got composition, we've got being interactive, meaning liking photos, responding to comments, and all of those. Give me 1 second here, hold on. Those days. All right. On TV, they say never leave dead air. That was dead air. Nothing going on. So you got to be interactive. You got to do that, and you need to follow some people, but it doesn't mean you have to follow a bazillion people. I think I'm following literally about 900 people, 898. Okay. Now a lot of these are parks and stuff like that, but I am following everyday people, kind of thing. But you got to interact. Now, I built my model up here as a way of, if you hashtag, I want you to hashtag National Park Geek so I can feature it. So tag National Park Geek for features. I tell people that if they want to do that. Sometimes they will direct message me with a picture or a link or something like that. But the vast majority of the photos in this case are coming from people that are out there taking photographs, crowdsourcing, right? I'm getting pictures from people that are out there doing it and seeing it. I don't have time to get to every park, which I wish I could. And I don't have time to gather all of these pictures. I mean, this is tough. So I'm using the crowdsourcing, and I'm always giving them credit. You always want to give credit. So like this is a picture from this morning. I'm hashtagging and crediting, thanking the photographer. I'm also over here tagging the photographer. So I'm giving them 2 places that I've tagged them because I want them to know that I appreciate what they're doing. And I also, what I do is I recopy what they posted. So this is what they posted as part of their original post. So unless there's something that's I don't think is appropriate, I repost it because they're there, they're experiencing it. This is their photograph, and I want people to see it as much as possible the way they intended it to be shown, not only with the photograph, but in this case also with the story behind the photograph. Okay, so that's my philosophy on what I'm trying to do and how I'm doing it here with this. But it is work, okay? I mean, I'm every day in here doing stuff. I'm posting every day. I've posted every day for the last 6+ years. Okay, every every day. And every day it's been, right now it's running about 3 to 4 pictures. But at one point I was doing 7 or 8 pictures a day. Now I have the content, so it's not that hard in that sense, but you still got to do it. Okay, and I use like repost apps to kind of copy the stuff, and then you put in your stuff, and we can get into those logistics if you need to, okay, or you want to. But it is literally, it's work. Now, do you have to go crazy like that? No, I was trying to build this into something. I didn't know it would become this, but it did, and I'm very happy for it. But you got to work it in, and you got to do the work. Okay, so yeah, I'm giving you information and ways to start to do this. But if you don't do it and apply it, it's not gonna work for you. Okay, so you have to kind of work at it, and you have to act at it. And again, this is not just for art or design or photography. This is for everything, right? This is for all the places and all the companies out there. Not everybody's Nike. Okay, if you're a fan of Nike, you're a Nike follower, Nike believer. I can guarantee you Nike's got 1 million some followers just because they're Nike. Let's just see. Where they have 2 million, 3 million, 100, holy cow, 178 million. That's crazy numbers there. That's crazy. Great. So they've got a thing, and they can post a picture and get, but it's kind of what's nuts is here they have 178 million followers, right? That's numbers none of us could believe of. And obviously videos, they count differently, but here's a picture, it's only got 30,000 likes. Now, when is this from? When did they post this? I'm looking here. A week ago. All right, so they're not posting that much. I can tell you that. There's only one a day maybe or so. But it's got 300,000 likes, which is a big number, don't get me wrong. Okay, 300,000. But when you've got 178 million, okay, that's still not a lot. Okay, so in my case, if I was working Nike and I was looking at the social media, I'll go, hey, your numbers kind of aren't too good. And you're getting 200,000, 300,000 for a post, and you got 178 million. I'm getting, 10,000, 20,000. It just doesn't add up, right? I mean, it's just the numbers, if you compound them out, they could be doing better. So, but you got to work at it, right? I mean, you're just not going to get 178,000 followers overnight unless you are Nike. It's a lot of numbers. Hold on a second here. Okay, so you have to be active, you have to be proactive, you have to be interactive. You need to post. And again, I built this model up where I'm getting content from others. And I think you could still do that. So many times people go, well, I don't have anything to pick. I don't have anything to post. What do I show? And I'll show you mine. And I live a boring life too. Okay, don't get me wrong. I wish I was out and about every day. And again, I'm not working at this. So this is my personal Instagram, and I've got 2,000 followers, which is fine. I'm not pushing it. I do hashtag, but I can tell you I'm not out there liking pictures unless they're, close friends that are showing up in my feed. I'm not searching out things. This is just kind of my own personal project. This is for me. I could care less about really who sees it. And I post and I get, 50 likes or 60 likes, 30, 24, whatever. I don't really care. Okay. But I go through my photographs, and this is why I do this, is every day I go through a photograph, and 99.9% of them turn out to be something that was taken in the past. And they didn't happen today. Occasionally, there's a day I saw David Spade. He was in Vegas. Spotted him, and Went and saw a show that night. It was kind of good. It was him and Ray Romano, and we're going to see to a park. I've seen a ranger that I know, but the vast majority of this is from the Lincoln Memorial in Washington. I was not there a week ago. Okay, so these are pictures that are on my camera, my phone, and I'm going through and I edit them, and it just kind of reminds me of where I've been and what I've seen, and I try to do it from whatever artistic, whatever I'm feeling that day. So it's really kind of more of a personal project to just kind of look at things. Occasionally, like yesterday, I worked at the firehouse. So there's a picture from, we had a call and there's just a picture, nothing special. But, I didn't go to Joshua Tree the day before, but I have a picture from Joshua Tree when I went a couple months ago that I processed and went through and I posted because I was feeling Joshua Tree that day. So you can do that. You can repost stuff or post stuff that you've done months, weeks, years ago. Okay, and it really doesn't matter how long ago it was. I mean, I've got stuff. That's summer. I went to last time I was in Yellowstone was 3 years ago or so. This is from the Grand Canyon. I can tell you it's a long time ago because my kid's much bigger now. Here she is now. Here she is then. She was little then. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Now she's going to be 10 in December. So, I got pictures that go way back. And again, it reminds me of those travel and adventure. And that's why I'm doing it. It's not to build a business or sell anything or any of that. It really isn't. In this particular case, my personal account. Okay. It's just this to have fun. This was just funny. My wife put these tomatoes on the cutting board. Where'd it go? Come on. Oh, it went away. Pause it. She was doing something, right? And she just put them down. And I came up and I was getting a cup of coffee. And I was like, look at that. That's like a weird little face for a Monday, right? It's kind of like screaming. It's got tomato eyes. It was a happy accident. Okay. There was nothing planned there. It was just happenstance. So it's kind of looking at those things. Hey, you take a picture, you post it, whatever. You can get content from stuff that you have old. Okay, it doesn't need to have to be from that day. You can get content from others. You can say, hey, dude, I love your picture. Can I repost it? And I will tell you 90% of the people or more are going to go, yeah, go ahead and repost it. Thank you. And, make sure you give them credit. So, I don't know, let's say you're into, oil paintings and you found somebody who has some really cool oil painting and, you want to share their work. They're going to be happy that you're sharing their work. Okay, so you can ask for content. And that's exactly what I do is I ask for content by saying use a hashtag in my case at this point. So you can build this up, but the main thing is to post. If you don't post, you're not going to show up in the feeds. Okay. In order to show up in the feeds, you got to post, right? This is the feed that you're going to go through. And if you don't, obviously it's people you follow, but if you don't like their pictures, they're not going to show up. Okay. And if you're not showing up in the feed, you're not going to get noticed. Okay. So you have to kind of do that. And the more you like something, the more likely they're going to come back into your feed. Okay. Because that's what Instagram and Facebook and all those are trying to do is, quote, give you stuff that you like, quote unquote, or you think you like. So just because I'm liking Save Ellis Island as a nonprofit with Statue of Liberty Ellis Island, it will start to show back up into my feed again. Sometimes a couple pictures down, you get another one, you're like, well, that was quick. So it's not about the size to get the feed. So this one I follow. They've got two likes in 3 minutes. Colonel Charles Young, he was a Buffalo soldier in the early 1900s, late 1800s. And this is a small national park site in Ohio. And it's basically, you see 2,000 followers. But because I like their pictures, and I like the stories that they're telling about, in this case, soldiers and African American. This other side of history we don't often hear, along with the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. It shows up all the time in my feed. Does that make sense? Because I'm liking it. So it's going to give you more of that. So, you have to kind of, get people to like your pictures in order to have them show up in your feed. Okay. So no matter what, it's not necessarily the size of the account. It's about people liking your photos. Okay. So liking, right? And that one showed up again. So it's a new one. This is not the one back here. There's someone back here, I thought. No, maybe not. Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. Things start to pop up. Okay, so get the tags going. Let people use them. Feel free to ask for, can I repost that? Again, if people want that visual stimulation. My ultimate goal when I kind of started doing this too was to kind of to promote the parks, the big ones and the small ones. So this is like Death Valley, and this is a park called Grand Portage. It's up in northern Minnesota, and it talks about fur trading and those kind of days in excuse me, the 1700s, early 1800s. So my goal was to promote big parks and small parks and all this history and all that goes on with our country. But I also was trying to create a what I would call a visual pause. I want you to, look at this picture of the Grand Canyon and go, wow, that's beautiful. So not only inspired to go there one day if you haven't been, but just to take a second from your busy life, because you're in Instagram here, to say, wow, that's kind of nice. And maybe that'll chill you out or take you to a new place or give you inspire you in some way. So I've always been the point of trying to inspire, give you a little bit of kind of visual beauty. I think we need more beauty in the world. We need more pretty things. And this is kind of my way of doing that, is to share pretty beautiful things. And, I think, and I'm curating all of this. I'm picking the photos and telling the stories. I think I'm doing a fairly good job of doing that. And it's just a matter of when you see it, you go, wow, that's kind of cool. That's interesting. Or I'd like to go there. Or I've never been, or I've heard about that place. Where is that? Oh, it's the fire in Sequoias. How can I help? Whatever it happens to be going on with that particular image or story that's being told that day. And again, I'm just trying to, for a microsecond, get you to stop and go, wow, Yosemite is beautiful. I'd like to go. Okay, I'd like to experience that. Or that takes me back. I remember the time when I went, and the family and the adventure, the friends and all that you did. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do ultimately with my, I call it the site, but the Instagram. Okay, it's tell those stories. I didn't build Instagram to sell products, and I do occasionally put up a picture of, hey, I sell stickers and pins, and you got to go way back because I don't, and this is my bad, I'm not promoting it as much as I could. Okay, and part of it is I love the dynamics of the parks and what they do, and I don't want to clutter it with we'll call it business, right? With my designs and my products. And God, we're going way back. See, it's been months since I posted any kind of post that has a sticker, t-shirt, whatever on it. Where are we going back to? These are way back. There we go. There's the last one. This was a giveaway, actually. So it wasn't even purely buy my stuff kind of ad. 13 weeks ago. The last time, so that's 2-3 months type of thing. So I don't do this as much. Many companies that I followed and companies that are competitors or whatever, they'll post every 2-3 pictures sometimes, and to me it's too much. I don't want you to, it's too much. Okay, but you can, right? You can post stuff and say, hey, I've got artwork for sale. go to here and buy it. Here's what I'm working on. You can show process. It doesn't have to be a completed thing. It can be here. Hey, look what I'm doing. I did a nice sketch and I'm building it into something. That's cool. Okay. So don't be afraid to show process, to show images. There's a ton of stuff out there that you just aren't thinking about that you can be posting if you try to get into this. And again, I think this is a way to build success. And again, I built the company. I was again out of a logo and some stickers and a patch that I say. So I mean, you guys can do this, and there's nothing more than what I'm telling you for the most part. Does that make sense? There's no secret sauce. I'm not paying anybody to do this. I'm putting in the work. I get behind on the work. Sometimes I get ahead on the work, not often. But these are things you can start to do now, or at least plan and inspire and build it up to start to do now. Instead of, you don't need to wait. Okay. There is no, you can't do this till you're 25 or 30 or 35 or whatever. Obviously there's no time better than today, and there's no time better than now to work on these things. And again, this is not like building Amazon. Okay, that was a much bigger thing. This is just you doing something and being able to communicate and share your ideas. And if you want to build an Amazon, I don't think there's a better time in the world to do it. It's a really, really good time to be doing anything out there, because we have these mediums, the social media platforms that we can communicate with, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people quickly, instantaneously, and for free. Like I said, that's kind of unheard of. And I think we should be obviously using this to our advantage. And am I doing it perfectly? No, but I'm doing it. And I'm learning, and I'm trying to keep up, and I'm still learning, I'm still reading. It's not because I've got 700,000 that I'm like, oh, I've got it, I've made it. No, you got to keep doing it, because things change and they change, and you got to keep at it. And you can't rest on your laurels at this point. You got to just keep working it. All right, questions. We're going to kind of quick overview of Instagram. We can obviously get into more specifics with questions and such. What kind of questions you guys have?
I think I'm good personally. I kind of get the gist of what you're saying. So it makes a lot of sense to me. It's kind of just like networking when it comes down to it.
Well, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's LinkedIn, but it's not. I mean, LinkedIn obviously has its purpose. Going to a network event, Mixer kind of has its purpose. But yeah, it's a way to. It's not necessarily just purely network. It's a way to promoting too. I think vast majority of people were using it to promote, to sell or communicate, than to make when we think of networking, a connection that might lead to a job or help us with work or something down the line.
Right. It's a bit more like personal, I guess, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Others?
Do you do any other social media other than just Instagram?
I do Twitter because I like Twitter. I just like the words, and I like that stuff. So what I do is I have basically everything that I post on Instagram. It automatically propagates into Twitter and automatically propagates into Facebook. I just don't have the time myself to like mess with Facebook too much. And I don't really like Facebook, God knows. Don't tell Facebook, they'll probably blackmail me or block me or something. But I don't know, it's just not my gig. I look at it, I find it, somewhat informative, somewhat entertaining. But I just don't do, I don't do a lot of posting there, and I should. And I know that, but I don't, you only have so many hours in a day. You got to pick your battles type of thing. I don't have TikTok or Snapchat. I don't know. I'm not cool enough, I think, for that stuff. You know, I guess again, I could probably find and I could build the same audience up, but I just haven't. Again, it's time. You only have so many hours in a day, and I would say pick one or two if you're going to do this, and pick the one or two that would be most appropriate to the audience or the medium you're trying to do. I mean, I'm
Right.
selling through photography, so Instagram is natural. Could you do it in Facebook? Yeah, you could. Again, it's the same stuff. So I got Facebook followers that aren't on Instagram. I get that, but you know, you got to pick the one you like and the one you think works. But it's also the one you like working with, if you can. I mean, so I like Instagram. I like it myself. I was on Instagram before I started this type of thing. I've been on Instagram not since it started, but almost like a couple months in. I was on Instagram way back when it was before it was Facebook or anything like that. Because in the end, you got to enjoy what you're doing. Does that make sense? I mean, if it was a bazillion hours of work, I wouldn't do it. Right? I mean, if I was like, oh God, this is terrible. I don't have to, I got to go in there again and I got to post. I can't believe this. It sucks. I wouldn't do it. Does that make sense? So you got to have something you like while you're doing it, along with something you like working with. That makes sense. I mean, obviously, I like national parks. I like this stuff. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. That wouldn't make any sense. So, you know, use what you think works for you. Does that answer? I don't know. Does that answer?
Yeah, it answers.
Okay. Others? Questions, comments, other things? Wow. Can't believe I'm that good. All right. So we're going to get back into the logo. Sorry about hobby first. Yeah, I mean, in this case, it was a hobby first, and eventually it's now making money, obviously. It doesn't mean you can't start it off to make money. There's no reason you can't do that. It's not like you're like, hey, my business, this is my business, and I want to use, you know, the social media to sell and promote my business, and that's part of your ideas right away. You can do that. It's just happened to, for me, it wasn't meant to be a full-time business. It's become one, but it wasn't the initial goals and objectives when I started. Okay, it started to have fun as a way I could design and be creative, because that's what I do. So yes, in that case, it was kind of a hobby and it became a business. But it doesn't need to be. Okay, you can start it right out as a business. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell sunglasses, and I'm going to use, you know, Instagram as a large means of marketing and selling this thing, along with Facebook or something like that. And I'm going to do this. So I'm going to have a website. I'm going to have e-commerce. I'm going to promote it on Facebook and Instagram. And promoting is not just paying for ads, but promoting meaning doing it. I'm going to post in Instagram, and I'm going to post on Facebook, and I'm going to, you know, work and interact and do those things that get me noticed as the premier company that sells sunglasses. Okay, and I would hope that if you're doing, even if you're going to do sunglasses, you niche market it down, so you're doing like retro style, or you're doing modern contemporary, or you're doing something a little bit differently in order to get noticed, in order to gain traction, in order to gain followers. You know, because even though sunglasses are a very specific thing, there's different styles, and you know, you can you can gain more by kind of niching it down and who you're kind of focusing on. A lot easier than just saying I'm making glasses for everybody. there's got to be something, all right? There's got to be, typically there's something behind it to tell your story. Okay. Others, anything else? All right, so we're going to get back to the logos. Hopefully you guys have spent a little bit of time thinking about your travel agencies or companies. Questions on that? Everybody kind of moving along okay on those? And just anybody,
Yeah, they're
again,
going well.
going well, you say?
Yeah, so far.
Okay. Anybody else? Again, it was just kind of start ideas, start concepting, start pulling them together. Hopefully maybe doing some sketches. Like, I mean, it doesn't need to be a lot. This is a sketch I did last night. And you don't even get what it is, but that's okay. It's a doodle for my head. So I don't forget it. So they're not meant to be specific, but it was, this idea came into my head. I'm working on some stuff, and that was it. It was just kind of doodle it down so I know it, because you forget stuff. You're gonna be like, in 12 hours, you forget what you did. Or you'll forget that idea and you're gonna go, oh God, what was that? It was something that was good. It was brilliant at the time, but I can't remember what it is now. So do your sketches and get your ideas out. That's one of the premier things you can do as a creative, or really anything, right? I mean, writing the ideas down. It's like, how am I going to do this, or how am I going to sell it? Or that's a great way of promoting or communicating. Writing ideas down. Okay, so put those down. As Draplin says, like $9.99 for 3 field books, but get them down, whether it's in a field notes or on your computer in your notes or on a post-it. Okay, put the ideas down, sketch them out, and we're going to start to utilize those things on Wednesday. Okay, and I'll go through some step-by-step with that, and then we should be ready to start to go over the projects on the album art projects on Wednesday. So, okay, questions? Other questions?
I understand that like we're gonna have a bunch of time, but do we have a general idea for when the travel agency will be due? Like
Yeah,
month, 2
I'll give you a
months?
general idea. Let me just look at our calendar now. Hold on. We're probably looking at the week of the 8th for the logo, and then we'll start the poster, the travel poster before that, and that'll probably be due somewhere around the 29th, which is the last week of November, and then we'll have one more project in December. Somewhere, I'm just trying to see when I don't know if the last day is the 9th, 8th, or the 15th. I gotta look that up. When their last, I don't know if the last week, school week is December 6th or 13th. Some reason saying the 6th, but we'll get it figured out. Don't worry. I'm not gonna kill you guys and go, oh, this is due tomorrow. Okay, so don't sweat that. I will not do that to you. And if I have to adjust on my side, I'll adjust on my side. But again, I want you to be comfortable with these programs. That's really what I'm about. And everybody will pass. The only way you fail is by not doing projects. Does that make sense? So don't anybody worry about that. I'm not here to, my goal is not to fail anybody. My goal is to teach you these programs so you can start to utilize them. Whether it be making your own business or your own company, or being creative, okay, and which leads you into something else. This is an intro class, and again, it's not meant to. We're not. I don't know. It's not pre-med. Does that make sense?
All right.
Okay. Other questions? Issues? All right. So I'm going to let you guys be for today. We've been a while here. Work on your ideas for the travel. By Wednesday, if I ask any one of you, hey, what's the name of your travel agency? You should have a name. Okay, I don't care if it's a good name or a bad name. You should have a name. It's Acme Travel. Okay, that's cool. Okay, but you should have a name, and kind of who is your travel agency? Meaning, what are they doing? What kind of travel are they targeting? You know, certain ages or demographics, certain geographical places. You know, who is and what is your travel agency? So you should have that by Wednesday. You know, so get thinking on that, write those ideas down. So now we can start the design. We can have a you know, a quick little discussion about that. But we're going to be getting into design. And again, I'll give you some parameters on timelines, but the designs are very open as to what you want to do. All right. I want you guys to be creative. So I don't need to give you a lot of too many restrictions, because that to me that blocks creativity. But we are going to use them. Like I said, we're going to use these on our travel posters, which are coming next after this. Okay. Anything else? Viewer, we can get everybody attendance wise and double check.
I just have a really quick question about the logo.
Yes. About the what?
About, you said we need to do a logo?
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's, is that exactly for the travel agency? Is that a separate?
That is a travel agency logo.
Oh, okay, cool. Just wanted to ask. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
And I'll give you guys a spec sheet on that. I'm still typing it up, but yeah, travel agency.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All others? Okay. Okay. Other questions before we are good for today? All right, guys. Give me a question if you have it. Otherwise, have a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday. We'll continue on, talk about logos. We'll get into some more specifics. I'll go through some more Illustrator and there. And if you have questions that come up about social or Instagram, that kind of stuff, just write them down. Let me know. We can chat about them. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
See you then.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. See you Wednesday.
Bye.